Hi divers, Alec Peirce from Alec Peirce Scuba again, another tech tip. And I want to say, first of all, thanks for all your suggestions. Most of these suggestions that I'm sharing now at this point, after, I don't know, 75 or 100 tech tips, after all of those are suggestions that come from you, my viewers, and I think it's fantastic. I'm running out of ideas. There's no lack of ideas, I just need help, okay? So today we're going to talk about a very common topic, a very important topic, and one that a lot of you have asked about. And that's BCDs. Specifically, everybody knows what a BCD is, buoyancy compensating device, for those of you who don't. But anyway, BC. We're going to say BCD for now. For those of you who have been asking for me to compare stab jacket style BCDs to wing style BCDs, we're going to do that. First, a little bit of history. BCDs, of course, it didn't exist initially. I think I've showed you, if you've seen any of my vintage scuba playlist, you have probably seen some of the vintage BCDs. They weren't even BCDs. They were this old life vest you put around our neck. You could blow a bit of air into them and pop them up, and it would help you if you were tired on the surface. And they weren't very popular because real divers didn't wear them. But anyway, eventually they became more and more popular, and then they became a BCD. The difference between a life jacket and a BCD, buoyancy compensating device, is that with a buoyancy compensating device, a BC, you can actually put air in and let air out easily. So now putting air in makes you more positive, you start to rise, letting air out makes you more, you start to sink. So you can adjust your buoyancy. Buoyancy compensating, that's where that word came from, buoyancy compensating device. So now we have a wonderful piece of diving equipment. I wish I'd had one when I started diving in the late 50s. Boy, we used to pick up a stone to get down, and I forget what we did to get up. Filmed it like the devil, I guess. But anyway, it was pretty interesting. I wish I had it then. They're fantastic. They really are. And it's mandatory equipment for several reasons. First of all, it's mandatory. All the training agencies recognize that it's wonderful for safety of divers. It makes diving much simpler. And also BCDs now perform several functions. Yes, they provide buoyancy compensation. They also hold the tank. And there's no backpacks anymore. The BCD holds the tank. So if you want to take the tank with you, great idea, you wear your BCD. And there's other functions they provide as well. Some of them have pockets and all kinds of stuff. BCDs have become mandatory equipment for many, many reasons. Now, initially, the buoyancy compensating device was a jacket style. And that, the very first one back in the 70s was made by, I think, by Sequest, or, probably more than one company at the same time. But anyway, Sequest had one of the very first. It was called the ADV, Advanced Vest. ADV BCD, and it was the very first one that actually was like a jacket. So you put one arm in and this arm in, and you did the belt up around the tummy, and off you went, and it held the tank. So that was one of the very first ones. I'm going to guess that was in the early 70s, thereabouts. And that particular buoyancy compensator, the jacket style, or stab jacket, stab is short for stabilizing jacket. Boy, companies make up big names, don't they? So stab jacket BCD is the most common style used today. All recreational divers, which means in fact all divers, when they begin their diving career, whatever they become later, photographers or commercial divers or technical, whatever, when they start their diving career, almost invariably, they begin with stabilizing jackets or jacket-style BCDs. It is the most common, undoubtedly the type that you used in training, your open water dives, and when you go traveling around the world, it's usually the type that you rent if you still continue to rent your gear around the world. This is a typical stab jacket BCD. It looks just like this. So it's pretty straightforward. You see it has two shoulders, a back. There's a band on the back to hold the tank, of course, and as I say, you put it on like a jacket. So if you're going to put this on, you put one arm in here and one arm in over here, you see, and you put it on just like putting on a vest or a jacket, and then you're in. Just that simple. And once you get it on, as you all know, because you've used them, you do have the tummy. In some cases, the tummy is a cummerbund, a nice big padded cummerbund like this, which is, it's nice, looks good. In some cases, they have a cummerbund and they have a belt as well. There's a belt on here, and you snap that together in front, you see. And then they almost invariably have adjustable shoulder straps now. So you pull the shoulder strap down, and it makes it nice and tight here on both sides, and you're almost in. And a lot of them also have a clip across the chest. The clip across the chest is we'll talk about that in just a moment, not critical. But so this is a fairly typical stab jacket or jacket-style BCD. Now, one of the most important things about this BC that differentiates it from other BCs, and specifically from the other style of BC, the wing or back-mounted BC, is that this BC has air all around. This is air cell. So there's air cell all around your tummy, all the way around. Air cell up the back, both sides of the back, and actually over the shoulders too. So there's a lot of air all around you. Most particularly the fact that this air comes around your tummy. So you see when this buoyancy compensator is inflated, it has air all around your tummy and it lifts you up like this to the surface and sets you on the surface. It's almost as if you're inside an inner tube. You know, a car tube. You know, you use those for water sports. It's almost as if you're in a tube. You're sitting in a tube, and you have air all around you and it holds you on the surface, very comfortable, and off you go. When you want to descend, you just simply take the inflator mechanism, pull this off of here. That's going to sound great, right, Kevin? So I can get this up in the air because you have to have it way up in the air like this, straight up. And you press the button on the end, and the air comes out, and down you go. Don't forget your regulator. Oh gosh, put your reg in, and down you go. Off you go diving. If you want to ascend, go back to the surface, you press the button on the side, which is connected by a hose to your regulator, puts air into the BC, and up you go. And then as you become more experienced, good divers, very experienced divers, they have learned to use the BCD very carefully, as little as possible. Okay, so they don't put much air in, and they don't dump very much air, just a little wee bit. So early divers with stab jackets used to say, well, I don't want one of those things because they take air from my tank. I don't want it using up my air from my tank. I want to stay down a long time. Well, a good diver with practice, who has good buoyancy control and knows how to use the BCD very carefully, in fact, uses less air than someone who doesn't use the BCD, because the BCD will hold you in place. You don't have to keep finning, using those big muscles. You don't have to keep fighting the water and moving around. A very, very little bit of air, if you're carefully weighted, little bit of air, and you stop, stay right there and hang there. You don't use much air. Let a little bit out, just a little bit out, and you slowly start to sink. Let a little in, you slowly start to rise. You see, so actually being very careful in the way that you use the buoyancy compensator actually saves air. So that's a pretty standard stab jacket buoyancy compensator. They invariably have rings on them, different rings hanging down to hang different things. You can hang your safe second. Usually hangs up in this area. There's places on the bottom, rings on the bottom down here to hang a slate or maybe a light. They almost always have pockets. This is a pretty standard type of jacket. So there's a big pocket there. You know, you can put gold bars and seashells in there. No, I'm kidding. You won't find any gold bars, and you shouldn't touch any of the marine life, of course. But if you need to put a pair of gloves in there to keep them out of the way on the surface, or you want to carry a slate or something else, you've got pockets to do that with. Now, most stab jackets today also have some form of weight integration. What I mean is that for many, many years, we've been wearing a weight belt. So all of our weight was on a belt around our tummy, and the buoyancy compensator was a separate piece of equipment. The two were not related. The weights allowed you to sink. The BC brought you up and moved you up and down as you wanted to. Well, the last 10 or 15 years, what's happened is that the buoyancy compensators have provision to carry some of the weights. Weight belts are not comfortable. If anybody tells you he'd rather wear a weight belt, move away. That person's dangerous. And particularly if you're diving in cold waters up here, and I'm in Canada, so if you dive up here and we're wearing a thick wetsuit or perhaps a dry suit, it's not uncommon for us to be wearing 25 pounds of weights. Now, I know that's crazy. You guys down the south, and you swim down the Caribbean or the South Pacific, and you got your nice little skimpy little 3mm shorty on, and you're wearing 3 or 4 or 5 pounds of weight. You're saying, 28 pounds of weight, what kind of diver is he? Well, I'm a very good diver, as a matter of fact, but we have a wetsuit, a 7mm wetsuit. It's more than twice as thick as the 3mm, and it's a complete coverage. It covers your whole body, your head, your gloves. It's extremely buoyant. It takes perhaps as much as 20 pounds of weight just to overcome the buoyancy of the wetsuit so that we can get down. And then another 6 or 7 on top of that. Some big guys, like you take Kevin, for instance. When Kevin goes scuba diving, he probably wears about 30, 35 pounds of weight. So I wouldn't doubt it 1 minute. And if he's wearing his dry suit, which is 7mm neoprene over his whole body, plus it has air inside, my gosh, 30, 35, 40 pounds of weight would be the right amount of weight, and not really that uncommon. It makes it an awfully uncomfortable weight belt. Very, very uncomfortable. Many times after a dive, I've come back and my back, it's killing me, because the weight belt's in your back, you see, and you're horizontal, so you end up like this. So most buoyancy compensators the last few years have some provision for carrying weight. They're weight integrated. The early styles of weight integration had a big fancy pocket here with a pocket, and you put the weights in and snap it into place. That way, if you wanted to dump them, you could pull it out and drop it to the bottom, and you would gain buoyancy. You could drop your weights. Most buoyancy compensators now have a little simpler system. Now this is an interesting one if you take a close look at this. I'm not sure if you can get in there, Kevin, but in this particular BC, you see this, it has the big pocket for carrying stuff, but it has another pocket down here. You see it here? And this pocket is zippered, look, all the zippers, and then there's room in there to put a weight. If I had a weight, I would show you. Just take a weight. I'm going to take a soft weight. We recommend, if you're using weights inside your BC, that you use these shot-filled bags. Oh, by the way, get the good ones. There are cheap ones, and the lead shot is not sealed, so the lead shot, actually you can tell, you get it wet and pour it over your hand, gray stuff comes out. Not good. Not good for the environment. But most lead shot, the good ones, are sealed now. So you take this soft weight and you put it into that pocket, you see, and then you zip it closed, and there you go, your weight's in there. And if you needed to drop it, well, then you just have to pull on this, and you see what happens, and the weight falls out. Like that. Now these weight pockets, you don't have to have those soft weights. We suggest you use soft weights because they're easier on the weight pocket. They won't wear through the BC. But you can just as easily use a lead weight. Okay, we only use plastic-coated lead weights up here. They're better for the environment too. But you know, if you're still using the old lead weights, lead weights, they work fine. You can actually put a lead weight in there. Same thing. Zip it up, and you can have as much as 6, 7, or 8 pounds in these pockets. You see, so your BC would carry 10, 12, 14, 16, maybe as many as 20 pounds. Now you got to be careful because if you try to put too much weight in the BC, it's hard on the BC. It makes the scuba unit very, very heavy, so you start to lose the advantage of getting the weight off the weight belt. If your scuba unit with the tank and the regulator and the BC and all your weights weighs 40 or 50 or 60 pounds, that's not going to be very much fun. And it also, as I say, is very hard on the buoyancy compensator because it's made of material, it's made of cloth. So you're carrying around with all that weight yanking down on it. So I don't recommend, if you're using a lot of weight over 20 pounds, that you're necessary to put all the weight in your BC. Can be done, but just be very careful doing that. I have no problem myself with wearing a small weight belt, 6 or 8 pounds. So if I put maybe 10 or 12 pounds in the BC and then have a small weight belt, hey, that's perfect. Small weight belt's no problem. But that's basically what I wanted to show you just now, and that is a stab jacket BC. Let's get this weight out of here. Pull that out. Oh, there you go. Comfortable weight pockets. So there's a stab jacket BC. Pretty straightforward. And the weights are centered in this area around the waist, just like a weight belt. So you put air in, you go up, you put air in, you go down. Add air out, you go down. It's just that simple. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the wing type, back-mounted, or sometimes they're called horseshoe type of BCs. Essentially, the difference is only in the placement of those air cells. Let me take this off. And I think I've shown you before, when you go to take a BC off, don't try to struggle out like this. I tighten all these up. It's hard to do. I don't want to see you doing a dance on the boat, the slippery boat. When it's bouncing, just reach up here. Just click that. It comes apart. Now you can reach back and set your tank down, get your buddy to grab it, and you slip it off like that. There's no fighting or dancing around on the dive boat. I hate to see that. When a big diver is trying to get his BC up and he's dancing like this on one leg, so try not to do that. Let's take a look at a wing type of BC. I got one right here. Interesting enough, this BC is one of our favorite BCs for travel. One of the big advantages of a wing type or back-mounted air cell BC is that they're generally lighter than a stab jacket. Stab jacket is made of heavier material, and of course the air cell is quite a bit bigger. It goes right around your body. Let's take a look at this BC, and we'll see if we can spot some differences. Let me open up a little bit first of all. And that's the same type of shoulder straps. I'm going to put this on, and you'll see what some of the differences are. All right, you see, it's still got shoulder straps, so it still looks like a stab jacket to that point. Let me slide this on, and then once we have it on, you'll see what the difference is. Okay, what's the difference? Well, some things are exactly the same. Let's deal with that first. It does have a waist belt. I'm just going to get it stretched out here a little bit, like that. Waist belt goes around your tummy. You see it like that. There you go. There's no cummerbund. That big, wide, padded Velcro cummerbund doesn't have that. This particular BC is super lightweight. This is one of the best travel BCs that we have found, very, very popular for travel. And this is almost half the weight of that pretty normal BC we had before. We have some BCs that are much heavier than that. So this BC is incredibly light. So it just has a stretchy belt, goes around your tummy, and you just pull it like that to make it snug. Well, it's on. It's that simple. Well, don't forget to pull the shoulders down. That's the same. That's the same. You pull the shoulders down like so, and that tightens it up on your body so it's nice and solid on your body. This BC does have a cross chest strap, and you know, if you like this idea, great, use it. The only thing I suggest, particularly if you're a big guy like Kevin over there, a big guy, is don't pull this tight. You need to maybe understand the reason for the cross chest strap. This is not to hold the BC on. This is not to make it tight on your body. It's not for that. Some divers had because these BCs are sometimes used with heavy plates. We can talk about that sometime. Sometimes they're used with double tanks with a lot of weight on the back. And some divers don't have nice big square shoulders like me. And they were in, don't make faces, Kevin. And they thought that maybe the straps are going to slide off their shoulders, you see. So they started putting a strap to hold the shoulders on. That's all it's for. It's just to keep these shoulder straps from falling off your shoulders. Well, it's not going to happen. You see, even though this is loose, these can't go any farther. So don't pull this too tight. If you pull it too tight, and you're going to get puffing and panting underwater, and it's going to squeeze your chest. And oh my gosh, what's happening? I think I'm having a heart attack or something. So don't make this cross chest strap any tighter than absolutely necessary. Remember what it's there for. It's just to keep these straps from falling off. That's all it's for. Don't do any more than that. So it's on. Well, what do you notice right away? I don't have anything. Look, there's nothing in front of me. Take a picture of my front, Kevin. My best side. There's the straps. There's nothing there. Look, there's no pocket. There's nothing in front. So it's very comfortable if you need to move underwater, you're doing things, working, or whatever you're doing. It's very, very easy and comfortable to wear. You don't seem to have any bulk in front of you at all. Of course, that's because it's all behind. It's all back there. Let's take a look at the back. If you look at the back, you'll see right smack in the middle, it's a tank strap. Yeah. So in that respect, it's exactly the same. It holds the tank onto your back. There's a couple other things back there I want to point out. But you can see as I turn around how slim and how simple this buoyancy compensator style is. It's very, very slim. Now, everything's a compromise. If you haven't discovered that yet, you young people out there, you will. Everything in life is a compromise, and this is a compromise. In order to get a super lightweight BC, that's easy to travel with, easy to use, something has to change, and usually there's a compromise. Something has to be given up. So what was given up? You already know one thing. There's no cummerbund. Well, the cummerbund was kind of nice, but it wasn't all that essential. It did weigh 2 pounds. So we got rid of that. Saved 2 pounds, and there's one less thing to do up, and you don't really need it. In most cases, you're wearing a suit, so this strap is quite wide on your body. It's quite comfortable. You don't need that cummerbund. What else is missing? No pockets. That's right, there's no pockets. So if you do find a gold bar, you're going to have to carry it in your teeth, I guess. There's no pockets on these BCs. If you are a diver that uses a pocket a great deal, if you carry extra accessories and so on that can't clip onto the BC, then you can buy a pocket for just a few dollars. You can actually buy a pocket that goes onto the belt right here and hangs down. There's solid pockets and there's mesh pockets. So you don't have to live without a pocket, but the buoyancy compensator does not have pockets in its design. Okay? Now, a couple more things I want to show you about this BC, but I need to get a tank. So you just hang around for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I was going to go get a tank to show you how this BC works, but I'm here in the tech department. You know, why would I get a tank? I got all kinds of air, so I've hooked up my low pressure inflator to the inflator. So what I want to show you is the difference in how these BCs inflate. Now you know that with the stab jacket, how it inflates. Air around your tummy, air up the side, up it goes. And they squeeze sometimes too, depending on the style that you have. But watch this. I want you to, Kevin, do your job, Kevin. I want you to get in close to those bungees. See those bungee cords right here in the air cell? And you see how compact and close to my body that air cell is. Watch this. Are you ready? Here we go. How about that? So now you can see that although when you first looked at this BC, it didn't look as if the air cells were very big. Now you can see that the air cells are very big. This BC has the same amount of lift as a standard, same size stab jacket or jacket style BC. 35 to 40 pounds of lift. There's lots of lift there. Look at that. There's lots of lift. You can also see now why it's sometimes called a horseshoe style. You see? Can you see it's got a bit of a shape of a horseshoe? Use your imagination. Bit of a shape of a horseshoe. So this is a back mount or a wing type or a horseshoe style of buoyancy compensator. The essential difference is that all the air is behind you, it's back there. Again, there's nothing up here. It's not squeezing me because the air cell, you see, is not pushing on my body. It's back there around the tank and lifting me straight to the surface. So, from a practical point of view, by that I mean diving with these two different types of BCs. What's the difference? Well, again, you probably have all used a stab jacket. So you know what it's like. You put air into it and you go to the surface. When you get to the surface, if you want to float on the surface and you can blow the BC up, you know, maybe not hard, not completely full, but a lot of air in it, and you can sit on the surface and look around like you're inside of a little boat, your own little inner tube, sitting and looking around, which is the way you ought to be. Okay? It's quite comfortable, quite safe, and you can let a bit of air out and you can fin or whatever you need to do. With a wing style or back-mounted BC, it's a little bit different. Look at me from the side, okay? Now picture a scuba tank back there. And you can see where I am here, and the air is right in the middle. Can you see a practical problem with this type of BC? That's right, all the air is back there. So as you put air into it, the air wants to go to the surface. It drags me along with it. But as it does so, I tend to tip forward. So there have often been comments by divers who say, I don't want to use one of those wing BCs because, well, they give you buoyancy control, but they tip you forward. And it seems that that is the case. Not necessarily. Here's the big difference from a practical point of view. If you would like to have a wing-type BC, and there are some advantages to them, there definitely are. And I'm not talking so much about technical divers. I'm not talking about the advantages such as interchangeable wings. Yep. You can get different wings, or interchangeable packs. Yes, you can get different packs. You get aluminum ones, you can get heavy stainless steel ones. I'm not talking about having singles or doubles or even triple tanks. I'm not talking any of that. I just mean for a recreational diver, just a diver out there having fun. What are the differences? Well, if you have this type of BC, a wing type of BC, you have to weight it properly. That's right. If you put the weights properly into this BC, then you can overcome that tendency for it to float like this. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take this off, and a little bit of air out of it too, and it's kind of nice. If you watch there, you'll see there's a lot of air. You see how those bungee cords pull it back in? Isn't that pretty neat? And it becomes small and compact. Easy to travel, easy to move around with. And here we go again. I'm going to take this BC off. And remember I told you the easy way to do that. Oh, the chest strap. Don't forget the chest strap. Take that off and around the side like this. So now I have the BC off, floating behind me in the water or whatever. So here's what you need to know if you decide that, yeah, I'd like to try one of those wing type BCs. Okay, here we go again. Tank is here, right? You're here. Clear? Now, you'll notice that this has weight pockets on the front. Yes, it does. It has weight pockets right here on the front. So let's assume for a moment that you use, let's say that you use 12 pounds of weight. Okay, 12 pounds is a good number. So you would open up this weight pocket, and it is zippered. You don't have to open it. I'm sorry, put the wrong style here, Kevin. Close that back up. But you open the top. This is a zipper top. So you open this up, and you drop it. This is the 3-pound soft weight. They come in different sizes, 2s, 3s, and 5s. You drop that 3-pound weight in on that side, and zip it closed. Okay, again, with this type, if you want to drop that weight, you just squeeze it and it falls out. Now let's do the same, put that over there on this side. So now we have 6 pounds, right? 3 pounds to 3 pounds. And those weights are right on the side, right here. Okay, that's not really that good because it's not going to help. It's still going to pull you forward a bit. But look back here. Look back here on the side of the tank. Can you see here, Kevin? What's this say right here? Oceanic, 5-pound max, non-dumpable weight. This does not have clips on it. So you open this up, okay, and you take one of those 3-pound weights and you put it back here, okay, on the side of the tank. And zip it up. And one over here. Zip that, put a 3-pound weight, and so now you have 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. That's 4, 3. That's 12 pounds. That's what you need. That's what you found is the amount of weight that you need. But it's spread differently than with the stab jacket. The stab jacket was all right here. It's okay though because you had air right there. Right? With this one, you put 3 pounds there, 3 pounds there, close to the front, and then 3 and 3 at the back, close to the tank. Well, it makes a big difference. Now when you put air into this BC, it has a bit of weight pulling forward and a bit of weight pulling backward. So guess what? Yeah, you're right. It goes straight up. Like that. And you go with it. So when you get to the surface, you're floating around like this, looking around just like so. So the critical thing to ensure that you are safe and comfortable using a wing type or a back-mounted buoyancy compensator is weight placement. You cannot put all the weights in the front. If you're using a weight belt, you have to be sure that they're spread back around the sides like this, directly underneath the air cell. If you're using the built-in weight pockets, some weight to the front, some to the back. So again, you have weight in front of the air cell and some behind the air cell. So the air cell goes straight up. It's not being pulled forward only or backward only. It's being pulled down and the air cell goes up. How much weight do you put in the front and the back? I have no idea. You have to find out. This is one thing I discovered. I used wing BCs years and years and years ago when they were entirely different. I won't tell you about that. It wasn't a great experience. But with these new wing BCs, and I'm quite pleased with mine. I use this style here. Quite pleased. It's so light. 4.5 pounds. Like it doesn't exist. I stick it in the dive bag and it's not even there. It's fantastic. So I quite love it. And it's so comfortable. There's no bulk. There's nothing at all. I have one little pocket I've added to it so I can carry whatever gloves or whatever I want to carry with it. It's a wonderful BC. But anyway, it took me a while. I wear about 14 pounds. It took me a little while to figure out where the 14 pounds would be. And I actually found that for me, I needed to have 6 pounds in the front, 3 and 3, and then I needed to have the other 8 pounds at the back here. Okay, I don't know if I'm a little portly or what it is, but for me, and the tank I'm using and the BC and everything else, I put a little more to the back, not as much to the front, a little more to the back. You might find that you need to have 2 3s and 2 4s, or whatever. You have to play. You have to practice. There's no formula. You can't, if a dive store owner says, well, you put 2 at the front and 3 at the back, you'll be hurt. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Because it all depends. I can guarantee you right now, I'm standing here looking at Kevin. I can guarantee you that if Kevin used one of these BCs, his weight placement would be entirely different. He would probably have about 40 pounds on the back and nothing on the front. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Kev. But the weight placement would be a lot different. He would probably have more weight to the back and a little less to the front than I do. But only he will know that. His buddy can't tell him. Your wife can't tell you. You know, you have to figure it out for yourself. It took me about 4, maybe 5 dives before I finally got it right. And when I got it right, it was like heaven. I could hover instantly. I could go to the surface and look around. I could lay flat and swim along just off the bottom. It was fantastic, just fantastic. In fact, I'll tell you an interesting story. I was diving in Barbados in the fall, this last fall, and I was using this BC for one of the first times. And after 2 or 3 dives with my 5mm full suit, I got it perfect. Oh, it was fantastic. We had a half a dozen dives, and I was the happiest diver in the ocean. Everything was perfect. The buoyancy was unbelievable. I could do anything I wanted to. The BC didn't give me a problem. We decided to make a night dive late one night. Very, very hot in Barbados at that particular time. We got down to the parking lot, got ready to put our gear on. And I said to my wife, I said, it's so hot, I'm not going to wear my wetsuit. You see where this is going? I put the BC on without the wetsuit that I've been wearing up to that time. Terrible dive. I felt like I was a beached whale. I was flopping. The tank kept flopping over. I couldn't keep upright. I couldn't hover. It was just a dreadful dive, and I couldn't figure it out. I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought my tank had slipped. No. My buoyancy distribution had changed. I should have changed the weights a little bit and played until I got it right with no wetsuit on. That's how important the weight distribution, the weight placement with a Stab Jacket BC is. But if you do that, I think you'll love them. Lighter, more compact, easier to wear, easier to travel with. I think you'd really love it. So there's some differences between the Stab Jacket type BC and the wing type BC. You've been asking about this. I hope that's helped a little bit. Now we need some more comments. Talk to you soon. Alec, Peirce Scuba.